I have always argued that if you keep doing the same old things, the same old ways, you get the same old result. I've seen the reports of the various leaders of the various security agencies, and each one is pinpointing on money. I've just taken a bit of a review in my head and said, since the advent of Boko Haram in 2009, if you imagine the amount of money we have budgeted and spent on the fighting Boko Haram and other insurgencies across the nation, and the trillions of naira involved, I'm sure it will cost us about 1 billion naira analytically to fight one Boko Haram. If you look at the amount of money budgeted, amount of money spent vis-a-vis the results. So it means that we really have to change the style. And what is missing in this report is that this committee didn't take out time to look at the relationship between the governed and the governed and the Nigerians themselves. Mr. President, I think that there's so much anger in the system. There's so much of complaints within Nigerians. And so the spirit of patriotism is lacking, giving us something that looks like there's no sense of unity among the Nigerian nation in combating this crime. And so what we have is commercialization of security in Nigeria. And so people are not making personal effort, or people are not making sacrifices needed in fighting this. If you look at today, Mr. President, there's so much tension in our political parties, so much tension in our military, so much tension in our executive, tension everywhere. And then no nation can fight a battle of this nature unless there's a unity of purpose, where we all feel that we're indeed a nation or a family. And what it takes is a little bit of adjusting the system, rather than thinking that if we're pushing 1 trillion naira is going to curb crime. And let me say to these red chambers that even if we spend 100 trillion naira today in the fight of this insurgents and insecurity, we might end up commercializing the entire thing. So let's just look inwards as a nation. A nation faced with extreme danger. A nation that does not have enough resources, calling for unity of purpose, bringing back the spirit of patriotism. Because patriotism is not in the fear of the law, but in the love of one's country. That is lacking. And that takes a lot from the executive. I would think that by now, we're changing our style, that the president, for instance, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will address this nation on the need to come together as a people, because it's not something about soldiers anymore, police anymore. Come together as a people to say, listen, we need to deal with these insurgents. Become a father to all. And our governors becoming uncles, getting the whole family together to fight this. Because what this will lead us now is to fund more money. And the more the money, the more the appearance of Boko Haram. Mr. Senate President, you have often said...
I think you can begin to round up.
I have always said in this hallowed chamber that there's a co-relationship between poverty and insecurity. And I don't seem to have addressed this as what can we do to address the poverty situation, the hunger situation in this country. Because hunger plays a role. How can we change the entire economy to reflect on the stomach of the common man, such that people will not see Boko Haram as an alternative business to help their family survive? And I think, Mr. President, that if we really look at the issue of this hunger, issue of poverty, address first, it will cut down the crime. Because if we spend 1 billion naira in fighting one Boko Haram, analytically, then if the person sees 1 million, he will throw away his guns. So we need to address this issue. That's what I wanted this committee to further dwell on. So I don't go repeating the structure. It's not. Then the other very key point is that we have agreed on community policing here. We all agreed that let the communities play a role in partnership with local government, state, and the federal police in ensuring there's community policing, and give responsibility to the traditional rulers now, with their people, with their youth, to say, listen, you must defend yourself. Let's support you from behind. This will go a long way also than in helping us. So as I make my submission, I will advise that this committee will maybe go and look back again and see how to address these fundamental issues, which, if not addressed, will continue singing the same old songs of insecurity. Now that oil price has dropped, again, that's another security we have to worry about. Now coronavirus is around the corner. That's another insecurity that's going to bring a lot of insecurity. So there must be a categorical statement. To start with, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria should address the whole nation on the issue of this security and the need for us to come together and see our brother, be our brother's keeper, and share these sentiments of nationhood in fighting this very crime. So I hope God will help us. Thank you.